Firstly, apologies, of which I have none. So I've prepared this. It's about autism and burnout. Don't know if you ever heard of this. It began again for me February and just got worse and worse and worse. Feels slightly better now, that's why I'm doing this. If you wanted salacious local gossip, I will remain in dignified silence. What is it, this burnout business? Oh, by the way, information's going to sort of appear here. Or it'll be full screen so you can have the details. What is it, this burnout business of which I speak? Is it not indeed what every human goes through occasionally? Job, family, life stresses do not all occasionally go through the what is the point phase? I feel too exhausted to continue phase. In short, the answer is yes. All get burned out, bummed out, a little pissed off. Can't be asked. So what is different about autistic burnout? To begin with, as with all things autistic, it is the intensity of it. The shuddering, debilitating contraction of mind, body and soul. It is not a depressive state, nor an anxious state. It is a state of nothingness, a transient void, a moving back into the unconscious mind, almost as though one is of the ether and not of the earth. We are not for a moment of your dimension, time or space. We are not here. What is the main contributing factor to burning out? I've got to stop doing that. As I've described many times, it is masking. Now, all humans mask to a degree. I think that is a fair thing to say. But neurotypical people, or normal, whatever that means, they find it evidently easy to be duplicitous. A huge part of normal civil society is to be false. You have your work face, family face, friend face. But that is not an easy task for an autistic person. Now, an NT masks for ego reasons, insecurity reasons, arrogance and manipulation reasons. We autistics mask for one reason only, to hide autism. The stigma, the stimming, the stammering, all that civil society mocks. You see, society lets us know really early in childhood to be very ashamed, fit in or die off. You will not be accepted otherwise. This is an art. Masking is to act. There is an art in what we do, if I'm to be truly honest. And much like anything else, the more one practices, the more refined and perfected the art. But it is exhausting. Imagine watching a Shakespeare performance at the Globe Theatre, watching the actors perform for 3-4 hours. Then they and the audience all go home. For an autistic, that performance may last 12 or 14 hours a day. Sometimes 7 days a week, from the age of 4 until death in many cases, because to show all traits of autism, I have found recently, is still mocked and vilified, and, well, that's your society. From the age of 4 until, unfortunately, one stat that is awful is we die young, mainly due to stress-related comorbidities. Suicide rates are high. You see, this civilized society of yours, you kill us slowly. Why? Because uneducated, ignorant neurotypicals destroy most things they do not understand. Look at world history. Race, religion, sexuality, gender. If you do not conform to the norm, you will die. Now, what drives the need for power? That would be fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of one's own shadow, and ego the most dangerous of human traits. The imposed need to compete. It's why neurotypicals mask. They have preordained social constraints and the expectations of conformity. To rise, you must be a conformist in the pyramid structure the world still adores. We, the neurodiverse, in my case autism, we always live outside of these hierarchical constraints. But then everybody that's changed the world came from the outside. You see, there can be no new ideas from conformists. Our school system, for example, is not to educate. It is to take the creative mind we're all born with and hammer it into submission. Conform or fail at life. It's very hard for an autistic person, ADHD, bipolar, neurodiverse, to conform. Is it a health pandemic? No, these things have always been here. It's just, it seems to be getting more and more of an issue for normals. Can we fully integrate without a mask? I'd hope to say yes. But alas, in 2025, to show autism in its light and dark is still not accepted. I still have to mask every time I leave the house. And it takes so much concentration, so much energy to appear normal in this robotic world of yours. I've been very isolated since 2011, really. It was from 1999 onward that I knew my ability to mask for days, weeks, months was diminishing at a pace. With age came more and more realizations that I was different to the norm. But also, why do I exhaust myself into oblivion for a society so cut off from their own reality? Employment was becoming unbearable, being near people, having to mask my stutters, my stimming, having to regulate my speech. I swear a lot. I mean, quite unacceptable to many. What was described as depression, laziness, among many other things, made me feel, I guess, more and more ashamed. But of what? In 2010, I had no idea who I was anymore. So many masks, so many roles, but none of it was real. I became set on burning all of what was fake to ash, until all that remained was me and my shadow. Then re-educate to degree standards, learn about this autism thing, and recover. From 2011 until 2023, I was recovering from burnout. 35 years of acting, pretending, being subservient to a broken system can do that to us. Now, we have learned over the subsequent years what was once described as my outbursts, sudden inability to speak as just being rude, even getting out of bed was just being lazy, or all shameful feelings, yet all were found to be traits of autism. These sporadic episodes of mania, followed by breakdown, had names: hyperfixation, followed by burnout. This can be attributed to other neurological conditions or diversities. Now, I wrote this in a proper state of burnout. Like I said earlier, I'm slightly recovered, but not fully. The last 3 months, I'm sure, have been very tough on my family. I will try to describe the process to them and to you, the wider public, where we go and why. In these moments, we are unreachable. You cannot help us. We are absent from your reality. All we ask of loved ones is they are there when we return. But we beg, do not make us feel ashamed of not being in control. So this bit is called Dimension Jump. I guess to have been around me in these moments is akin to being sat atop a volcano. seen it smoke, boil, feeling it rumble beneath your feet, not knowing when it will erupt. At any moment, the rage of the sun could engulf you. I'm aware of this, but I can't control it. My physical appearance is normal apart from, I'm told, my eyes. I know in these moments people see a cold emptiness. I know I appear unapproachable, rude and aloof. There are also physiological changes. Aches, severe pain, stomach issues. The oddest part of the physiological state of burnout for me, my eyes change colour. They go darker to the point of black. There is a hemispherical frequency distortion of the brain. I can only assume if I appeared in my true form 300 years ago, it would be deemed a demonic possession. Just really quiet. I'm aware that when permitted to be myself, I will not look you in the eyes. I find it easier to listen and speak by looking anywhere but your eyes. I at times shut my eyes just to speak, to hide a stutter. This lessens the sensory load and enables one to do what neurotypicals find easy. Yet I'm also aware that during burnout, I not only look at people in the eye, but through the back of their skulls. With my black, cold, soulless eyes. From history and more recent experiences, this is deemed threatening, intimidating, arrogant, and psychopathic. Any negative comments I use in this piece have actually been said to me, or about me, when I'm actually at my lowest. Yet I cope with this, as I've never received a negative comment of a successful person. What I need people to accept is that it's all just a screensaver. The actual operating system behind it is off. Nobody's there. What does that mean? Whatever my physical appearance, inside or outside, if I look like a psychopathic killer, there's not a lot I can do about it. My brain is off. There are no creative thoughts. There is no motivation. I have to be reminded to eat. I know, unbelievable, but truly. Bathe. Sleep. In these moments, doing small tasks will wipe me out energetically. For example, a few weeks ago I wanted to read a few books on a Monday morning. Was going through the various stories of the books I was currently reading. Really looking forward to just escaping into a world of fiction. Yet just getting out of the chair, walking a few feet, grabbing them was impossible. And that's how burnout, you can't do anything. So I just sat, staring, not thinking, not feeling, not hearing, not seeing, until my daughter returned home. With depression, it's a battle against will and constant moods. With autism burnout, there is no mood. There is nothing. But some of you negative people will say, well, how did you write this in that state? And then other negative people will say, how are you speaking on video? It's called masking. I'm pretty sure I've covered this over and over again, as many other people on social media, science. It's been explained. There's so few people that know me. You should feel honoured when I can be myself around you. If I show all my traits, it means I am comfortable in your company. If I cannot sit, I'm fidgety, it's because you make me feel uncomfortable and I'm desperately holding on to a mask. In Burnout, my only mask is a screensaver of evil personified. Please accept, if I could alter this, I would not be autistic. In 2025, after just a short reintroduction in society, I have found it shocking that humanity has regressed so much and in so little time. What has caused this latest but probably one of the worst burnouts? Having to mask. Having to live up to the expectations of a society less appealing than it was in 1999. Last time I inadvertently saw the news, it was an orange reality television star arguing with a former comedian, an actor from Netflix, about a war the entire world started and is still involved in. I cannot invest in that. It's an illusion. But most modern society is an illusion. Being autistic does not mean we do not feel love, empathy, or sympathy. We feel it intensely. It's just very hard to process and to show. I can only speak personally, but the neurotypical world appears to be almost like a video game now, that you've all volunteered to take part in. You see, in my last venture, I asked for people to be direct. I asked for input, and my wife also told of how to deal with an autistic person. This was in the early throngs of burnout. What I've received from society was the opposite of understanding, empathy, or care. To witness people older than I gather en masse over such a trivial thing was shocking. It literally blew my mind. It hastened the process of burnout. The process of burnout accelerated. As I said, it began in February. But to burnout is not through a fear or stress, just an overload of not understanding, or the feeling, the need to understand the world. The world becomes so noisy and confusing, the mind begins to shut down. I have had thoughts of, why did I bring children into this? I've had thoughts of, do I want grandchildren brought into this? What if they're like me? No, I don't. And that's nothing against the condition or neurodiversity, that's against your society. I've seen enough, just in 2025 alone, to know we're still not accepted. Any difference is not accepted. You've got to conform. You're asking people that can't control themselves to conform. You're insane. It can be tough. So Easter, just gone. We've had a quiet time, finally. I was just starting to land on earth, and then Easter comes. I'm not Christian, so fucking pointless. But you love your eggs. So family, and then other things. It was a busy couple of days, and then yesterday felt like I was back to square one, in pain everywhere, taking painkillers. Could do nothing. Wasn't sat in the chair, I was lying in bed. So it's always a slow process. Oh yeah, and lots of people have been seeing on YouTube and stuff that RFK in America caused some offence by suggesting that autism is caused by environmental factors. I'm not offended. I think the whole point of science is you've got to keep asking the tough questions. You've got to look at things, even if they seem like conspiracy theories, you've got to check that they're not. So, if there are environmental factors, it needs to be looked at, doesn't it? So, yeah, I'm not offended by that. So there we are. I've still got work, and then starting again in May, different new clients. I hope you've learned from the things that have been popping up and the things I've been saying, and see you all soon.